Starting? Oh. This is day 5 of our Bible stories, and we're here with Savannah, the giraffe. We've been hearing that God is good, and Savannah wants to tell us that when life is good, God is good. Remember back on day 1, we heard that when life seems unfair, God is good. And then when life is scary, God is good. Or when life changes, God is good. And when life is sad, God is good. But Savannah wants us to know that when life is good, God too is good. Let's all say that together. When life is good, God is good. Our Bible story for today comes from the book of Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse 14. Remember the Lord, who is great and glorious. Can we say that one together? Remember the Lord, who is great and glorious. Our Bible story today continues from the time when Moses had led the children of Israel out of Egypt. Moses had been a mighty leader, and he had led the people for 40 years. During that time, God had given them the 10 Commandments, and they had been wandering in the wilderness for 40 years because despite all the good things that God had done for them, they disobeyed God. Even Moses sometimes disobeyed God. But now the time was coming for them to enter into the land that had been promised to them. But before that happened, Moses died, and he was replaced by a man named Joshua. Joshua led the people until they came to the Jordan River. The promised land was on the other side, but the water in the river was so deep and running so fast that they didn't know how they were going to be able to cross over it. But then Joshua remembered how 40 years earlier the children of Israel had walked to the Red Sea and thought that they would be trapped against the water there. But when Moses had put his rod in the water, it had separated. So this time Joshua told the priests who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant that contained the 10 Commandments to come to the river, and as soon as they touched the water rolled back and there was dry land. So the priests entered in and stood in the middle of the river. And that allowed all of the people of Israel to walk on dry land across the water. God certainly was good. And times were good. Everybody was rejoicing. So Joshua told the people that they should go and pick up a stone, one for each of the 12 tribes, from the river bottom, and pile it high so that they would remember that God is good. So here's Joshua and all the people with the big stone monument that they had made. What I would like to suggest for you and your families to do, either this evening, this afternoon, or if it's late, tomorrow, to go outside and look around and see if you can find some flat stones. Flat stones are better because it's easier to pile. I'm going to make a monument right here. With each stone I put down, I'm going to think about some way that God has been good. it is easier when you use flat stones so that they don't fall over. And you can build this monument inside of your house on a table and leave it there for a while. And every time you see it, you can think that God is good. Or you can build a bigger one and put it outside in your yard so that not only you, but everyone who goes by it will remember that God is good. So now I would like you to finish up with me with our Bible verse for today. Remember the Lord who is great and glorious. I hope you've all had a good time in VBS this week.